The development of combat vehicles is usually driven by specific requirements set by military authorities. In most cases, a tank is designed either as a tool for breaking through enemy lines or as a multi-purpose combat vehicle, suited for a variety of missions. But the British Valentine was an exception. It was developed by Vickers, on their own accord, on the eve of World War II. On the one hand, the timing seemed all wrong. Factories were already at their limits, and the British Army was turning to foreign suppliers for help. On the other hand, the timing turned out to be perfect. The Valentine wasn't a technological marvel, but thanks to a series of smart engineering choices, it fit seamlessly into the production schedule and quickly won the military's approval. A tank nobody expected, but everyone ended up needing. The idea for the tank came from Vickers' chief designer, Leslie Little. He had led the development of several cruiser tanks and had been involved in the creation of the Matilda, so he had a clear understanding of what the Army needed. And that was a combat vehicle that was affordable, simple, easy to produce using existing manufacturing processes, and, on top of all of that, effective. In short, a vehicle that could raise the bar in terms of combat power at minimal cost. Little believed that several proven solutions from other vehicles could be reused in the new tank. For example, a so-called Horstman suspension system that provided excellent mobility over rocky terrain. The engine from faster combat vehicles could also be adapted, and the turret designed to accommodate various types of guns, including more advanced ones down the line. Infantry tanks prioritized armor, cruiser tanks focused on mobility, and the Valentine was meant to have both. In British armored doctrine, the Valentine most closely resembled what other countries called a medium tank, offering decent protection without sacrificing much of the vehicle's maneuverability. To achieve this, Vickers engineers increased the armor thickness to 60 millimeters, which was quite impressive for the time period. At the same time, they managed to reduce the tank's overall size to maintain the desired level of mobility and not to overburden the vehicle. However, this required putting only 2 crew members in the turret instead of 3, which initially concerned the military. They feared that combining the roles of commander and gunner would be too demanding for one person. But the Army quickly reconsidered. With the outbreak of war in Europe, the situation became increasingly dire, and the Valentine suddenly began to look like a valuable asset. Vickers received an order for an initial trial batch, and soon the new tank entered full-scale production. To this day, it's unclear why it was named Valentine. Some believe it was in honor of St. Valentine's Day, while others think it was named after Sir John Valentine Carden, another prominent tank engineer. Either way, production ramped up quickly, from hundreds to thousands of units. It's worth noting that the tank gained popularity not only in Britain, but also among its allies in the anti-Hitler coalition, including the Soviet Union, Canada, and others. The Valentine appears in War Thunder as well. 3 variants are available in the British tech tree, and there is a Lend-Lease version available under the Soviet banner. Technically, the vehicle is classified as a medium tank, but due to the unique design approach of British engineers, it plays more like a heavy tank. Its 60mm armor offers really solid protection for a Rank 2 vehicle. At range, it can withstand hits from even very powerful guns, including the 76mm L-11 gun of the Soviet T-34. However, in close combat, the Valentine has quite a few weak spots, especially compared to actual heavy tanks. The 30mm sloped armor plate in the center and the area above the driver's hatch are particularly vulnerable to enemy fire. And when the armor is breached, the tank is often knocked out instantly. After all, it has only 3 crew members, all seated close together in the front. To get the most out of the Valentine's armor, it's best used at mid-range, angled slightly toward the enemy's gun. But don't hang back too far. Your own gun will become a problem. The early Valentine is armed with a 2-pounder cannon boasting excellent -15 degrees of gun depression and a high rate of fire. Firing it would be a pleasure, if not for the ammunition that comes with it. Both solid shot rounds and shells with explosive filler struggle to penetrate enemy armor and deal mediocre damage. You'd be better off avoiding fast and well-armored opponents altogether, since escaping in a Valentine isn't easy. Its 135 horsepower engine struggles to move even the relatively light 15-ton tank, and the transmission is no help. Forward speed tops out at 24 kilometers an hour, and reverse speed is a sluggish 3 kilometers an hour. At first glance, the British tank may seem too cumbersome for its rank, but it makes up for it with a well-balanced set of strengths. Its mobility is good enough to hold a second-line position in battle, and its excellent gun elevation angles and solid turret armor allow it to fight effectively from various terrains, whether on hills or open ground. Furthermore, later models do solve some issues of the original. For example, the Mark 11 comes with a reinforced turret, better optics, and a long-barreled 75mm gun that can reliably penetrate a T-34's turret cheeks and deal significantly higher damage. Finally, the Mark 9 has the best of both worlds: a fast-firing gun, strong shells, and a relatively tough turret. All Valentine variants excel in a support role, to the extent that their active involvement often ends in devastating losses for the enemy. What are your thoughts on this British tank? Share your opinions and secret battle tactics in the comments down below.